Hello everyone, my name is Lorthorn and welcome to Goety, How to Defeat the Apostate. Recently I released a video on how to do Goety, the whole thing, and I came up with an excellent way to cheese the Apostate and beat him through the powers of sheer cheese. That got patched out, or rather it got changed so it didn't work anymore, because someone didn't like the idea of their super epic boss being beaten in such a silly manner. So I had to come up with a new way to beat him in a super silly manner. Or did I? Now, one of the things I observed about the Apostate is he was actually easier to beat in the Nether than the overworld pre-patch. Now, it's not the case anymore, but it actually still kind of is. One of the big powers about him is he likes to teleport. He teleports around to avoid you and he's a ranged opponent. This is huge. That teleportation makes it so it's very hard to fight him in a setting of your choosing. One of the best ways to cheese an enemy in Minecraft is to fight them on your terms. Both the Vizier and the Apostate try to take that away from you. The Vizier by phasing through walls, and the Apostate by teleporting. So my abuse was to go underground so he couldn't teleport anywhere. Now what happened is his teleportation range was increased immensely. His scan range was increased immensely. And also, he was given the ability that if he's in one spot for too long, he will freak out and teleport away to then try to fight you somewhere else, and if not, he just leaves you alone. I personally am not a fan of this change, but it's whatever, it is what it is. And it actually did stop my method from working, except not entirely. Now there are some other changes of course as well to the power levels and various different things, but I've discovered something rather interesting. Which is, if you drink a potion of fire resistance, and you jump into a lake of lava, and you sink yourself down to the bottom, and then you start digging, you give yourself a little roof, and then you keep digging, and you dig yourself all the way down to bedrock. And then you create the arena to fight him in, which basically requires you to summon him. Then he can't escape. For some reason, the lava lake over top of you breaks his teleport AI. There are a few changes in here though, as his power levels were increased to make his fire damage more effective against protection. And one of those changes is getting rid of the trapdoors and setting up these blowers. Luckily, they are not blowing me because I've got a bunch of knockback resistance, various other things protecting me from that. But they are here in this fighting arena. Now, a few of the other things as well I want to note is how my gear is very good gear. We've got the dark helmet, we've got the dark chest piece, we've got the dark leggings, we've got the dark boots. They have thorns and protection. I have a bunch of souls for my dark gear self-repairs. I am wearing the Warlock's robe, the thorny belt, and also the soul shield amulet. This protects you against arrows when you're below half health. This is useful because he shoots arrows at you. So most of the gear from the first time we fought him with one little upgrade. A few other things that we happen to have is instead of using a netherite sword with smite, we are using the hungry dagger with smite 5 and soul eater 5, and that's because the hungry dagger heals us in the combat. Also, I'd highly recommend getting into the brewing of Goety, because protection no longer gives you double the benefit of protection versus Hellfire, which it was by a bug. You need to make up for that somewhere. So we can do that by adding ourselves damage with this Witch's Brew that gives us 12 damage. We have the Witch's Brew, which gives us the regeneration, and we give ourselves Witch's Brew that gives us resistance. He has a damage cap anyways, so the plus 12 damage with our smite and everything add together will make it kind of equivocate out versus having this sword with the plus 12 damage. Right, so let us summon him, eat an apple, and chug back our potions. Now we've got these stats on us for a bit. We're going to drink the regen one more time, just in preemptiveness. Here we go. Notice we are hitting him very hard with our bonus damage. He is teleporting around, but we are fine with that. We can get him down pretty quickly here. Alright, he's doing his next phase. While he's regenning, we're going to drink all of our potions again. going to do flame bursts on the ground a whole bunch. That's fine. We're very buffed. This chamber is set up to be a 2x3x3, which is enough space for us to mess around with them. The blowers happen to actually blow his fireballs away, which stops them from burning us to death, basically making so the patches of fire on the ground have a limited amount of floor coverage, which is his most dangerous weapon. If one of the permanent burning patches on the ground happens to be underneath us, it's really important to move out of it, as the damage not only lights you on fire, but you also take damage from the fire just being there, which shreds it. Also, one of the really nice things is that we heal ourselves with this sword, with its soul absorb. So even when we're not having the regen effect on us, because we don't have time to drink it, we're still healing. We still have that strength of plus 12 damage, and boom. So, it is of paramount in the fight to make the Witch's Brew of Strength for that plus 12, the Witch's Brew of Regeneration, and the Witch's Brew of Resistance. They, after a bunch of different testing with his new buffs, they are very, very important to the process to get all the goodies off of him. And also, it's very important never to stand in the fire. All the information for the Witch's Brew are right here. And it is honestly incredibly worth it because it makes the fight ridiculously easy. Without them, with this setup, you can win, but it's touch and go. It is really touch and go if you can win without them. But with those potions, it becomes such an utter cakewalk. The most important thing besides all this, if you want this containment to work, is to do it underneath a lava pool. Some reason that breaks his teleportation AI, or something or other. And so, yeah, if you just go underneath the lava and build the setup, it works there. Sometimes he does manage to teleport away, but just wait for him, and he will come back to finish the fight. It only happened to me once. I tested this at multiple locations and did multiple times, only escaped once. But, let's just say, hypothetically, it gets fixed again, and he can teleport even when you're underneath the lava arena. Well then, we have to do a different abuse to make the battle better for us. Now, if you want to beat him without trapping him underground, because that's been patched out for whatever reason, or you feel like that's too cheesy using that in the windblowers, then I still recommend fighting him in the Nether. Because if you fight him in the overworld, although he takes more damage and he loses his regeneration, he can teleport away from you on various different terrains, and it's just a nightmare tracking him. But if you fight him in the Nether, you can fight him on a flat plane. Now, to do this on a flat plane, what you have to do is you have to get on top of the Nether ceiling. So to do that, you need some ladders and some ender pearls. You want to find the very top block of the Nether, so it'll take some digging around to find it, but once you've found a top bedrock block, you want to set up a ladder so you can stand on it, and basically while you climb it, you jump, and then you want to take an ender pearl, you want to aim right at the corner, and you want to throw it, and you want to keep jumping while you do that, and boom, you're on top. You're on top of the Nether. And now you have this awesome giant flat plane to work with, and you can do your summoning ritual up here, and you can fight him on a flat plane. But if we're going to fight him up here on a flat plane, we have a lot of space to work with, so we want every advantage that we can get. Let's just say you're only using Goety and base vanilla mods with like a few slice of life things, just to help out. It's very easy to get a lot of iron with a golem farm, or you can spend a lot of time mining. Either way, you can get a lot of iron. And with everything up until now, besides becoming a lich, it's actually pretty easy to kill the Wither. You can even kill it 6 times. If you do so, why not build the tri-topped pyramid? This pyramid gives you every single effect, and every single effect is useful in this fight. Also, because you're on an open area and you're fighting up high, instead of using the Spiteful Belt, I recommend using the Wayfarer's Belt because that gives you some movement speed boost and some jump height. So, each one of these is set to give us the maximum health, benefit, and jump boost. We also have haste. This means you don't have to brew the potions. I'd say you could also just brew the potions. The potions are a lot cheaper than getting all this iron. It's up to you how you want to do it. You could do it with both. Also, because you're going to be fighting him up here, you might as well give yourself some more advantages. Now, golems are quite useful for defeating certain bosses, but not him. He's ranged and fast. So we're going to use grave golems to fight him, because they are ranged and they're quite powerful. In fact, I think they are your best option for fighting him. Maybe even having more than just 2, you might want to go with 4. Other summons can help, especially the broodmother spiders, and having the staff to summon the skeletal archers will be very useful for combating his own hordes of minions when they start overwhelming you. But after a certain point, your own minions get in the way, besides the grave golems, because they are just so good. So, if things get patched out, I'd say get a few grave golems, get yourself the potion of strength, get yourself on top of the world, maybe get yourself some pyramids of power, and let your guys deal with his first phase. You can get involved every once in a while with your own Sword of Smite. The Smite Sword can be good with the pure damage, but it's also good at times to have the dagger or the lifesteal, and you need to make sure to take down his obsidian obsculus, because those will heal him. The first phase actually goes by pretty fast with having such a large amount of minions, as he doesn't teleport as much yet. Hits phase 2, he will attack more frequently, he will summon bigger monsters to help him in the fight. Of course, he'll do his real repel, and every time he takes damage, he will also have a chance to teleport. He also summons these AoE fire bursts, which are best to avoid. He will continue to shoot his own fireballs, and he has one particularly annoying ability, which is sending these ghosts up in the air, and then they come down and explode and deal ridiculously high amounts of damage, because explosion damage ignores protection and actually a lot of different armor types. His constant teleportation also makes it not worthwhile for your skeletons to shoot arrows at him anymore, and only damage projectiles that are worthwhile are your golem's ghost fists to hammer him with actual high damage, because each time he gets hurt he teleports, which is rather irritating, or it feels like that. If he's casting a spell, I guess he doesn't teleport away. As you can see, I'm taking considerable damage from those stupid ghosts. So the battle plan at this point becomes a bit of a hybrid. One is letting your grave golems keep him low health and kite him whenever you get hurt and need to go eat food to heal. Avoiding him as best you can from his huge spells like the ghost fireballs, then running in and hitting him to stop his regeneration. Also, constantly trying to kite him back towards your pyramids, as those make you faster, hit harder, and give you an extra bit of regeneration, especially if all your potions have worn out. So, forcing him back there and fighting around that train is a good idea, and because he teleports sort of within a range of you, it's a good idea to stay on that. His fire patches, at this point, are rather limited in the damage they can deal to you, and the one big thing you have to worry about is the totems. But if you have the speed boost, you can run and destroy them pretty fast with the smite damage, and your golems also deal some good damage. Definitely avoid the ghosts from hitting you, avoid the blood rain, and if the pigmen get too annoying, then you can summon your own skeletons to help you fight at this point. Or in retrospect, zombies would probably be better, as the zombies aren't going to be hitting the apostate, making him teleport, so you can focus on being the damage dealer to him. Now, this is by no means an easy fight or a fast fight, but if you're careful and patient, and maybe even set up your phylactery up here so you can respawn wherever he kills you in this area, then the fight can go forwards and you can win it, especially if you happen to have a 6-fold pyramid. After a certain point, you might just want to commit to killing him, but you do have to be careful not to get overconfident, as he can always teleport away, so avoid his damage and just let your golems support you to keep him low while he's regenerating if you're not there to hit him. And then you should be able to claim victory with a few hits from yourself, or even your golems finishing him off. Now, you might want to go with the more expensive, more powerful golems, but they don't have range attacks like the grave golems, and I think the range attacks are one of the things that really make the grave golem the best option here. Also, stocking up on more potions could have definitely helped me there. I ran out, so having more potions could make this fight faster. I think it took me like half an hour to win. So yeah, and the summons, while nice at the beginning, do get in the way because he just starts teleporting too much. But yeah, so that is how you beat the Apostate legitimately, illegitimately, is I actually would say fight him in the Nether and just get very good gear. You can fight him in the overworld, and his fight is technically a lot easier because he doesn't regen and he takes full damage, but then he doesn't drop all of his cool loot, and you don't have a super flat biome to fight him on. So, it's up to you. Anyways, challenge back to you, mod maker. Are you going to remove this ability as well, or are you chill with this? Love your mod. Lots of fun. And until next one, thank you very much for watching. I hope this was useful to you. My preferred method is under the lava, but this way works too. Just don't forget about those witches' brews. Get yourself some brewski, lads. And as always, thank you and goodbye.